You like your action fast, mean, and heavy? Check out the rest of the Cyber City Oedo 808 series. Data 1 sees Sengoku tackle a guy who just doesn't want to die.
Amachi. Wouldn't you fucking know it? We picked the rush hour to chase bad guys.
In Data 2, I get the bum job of testing some mean-assed killing machine.
Fucking hell!
Oh, shit. My creation is so magnificent.
Hi! Need a lift there?
And in Data 3, Benton comes up against psychic vampires, a real freak-out.
Hey, Benton. Don't crap your pants if you see a vampire out there.
Get lost.
Cyber City Oedo 808, the series. They're coming to get you.
Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is a review of the 1990 to 1991 OVA anime series, Cyber City Oedo 808. Now, before I get into sharing my thoughts on Cyber City, I want to give a very special shout out to Will for requesting this particular review. If there is an anime, an OVA, or a series you'd like to see me review, feel free to donate to my PayPal. The link will be in the video description. I also review movies. I'm open to reviewing TV shows, as well as just discussing pretty much any topic that you would like me to talk about, as long as it's not politics. But anyway, let's get into talking about this OVA. Now, Cyber City, as far as I know, is not based on a previous manga. I couldn't find any information about that. It's an original OVA series that was written by Akinori Endo, and it's directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri. And I didn't really know much of anything about this. I didn't even know it even existed until this was requested. And for the most part, I really liked and enjoyed this OVA. I felt the third episode was the weakest out of the two, and it was just average. But the first two episodes I thought were really solid and really strong, and had some really striking visuals. And overall, I would probably recommend this series, even if you're not that big of a fan of anime. I haven't even seen that many anime. The only other OVA I think I saw that was more than one part or two parts was Battle Angel Alita. So I don't have a whole lot of experience watching OVAs or anime in general. So maybe the fact that I would say this is one of the better ones that I've seen is something that you should take with a grain of salt, because I haven't seen that many anime. But that being said, I think this is a pretty quality OVA. When it comes to the animation, it's very fluid, it's very lively, and it's definitely graphic. It's not afraid to really go for the jugular in terms of blood or hardcore violence. When there are sequences that involve gunplay or car chases or fight scenes, they all really pack a considerable punch. And I definitely want to make sure to point out the absolute awesomeness that is Rory McFarlane's score for this OVA series, for the UK dub. This score is headbanging, it's rocking, it's a really kick-ass, uh, genuinely memorable, and really cool mix of hard rock and techno and electronica. It's a real uh, audio treat. If you like that kind of music, I think you'll definitely enjoy what you hear in this OVA series. And the narrative is very simple but effective. It kind of reminded me in some ways of Escape from New York. You know, when you have a convict and they put a collar on them and they have a timer and you need to do this job for us or we'll kill you, that kind of thing. So in this, instead of it being a poison bracelet, it's a bomb that's wrapped around their neck, like the Rucker Hauer film Deadlock, or the security devices that were used in the film Fortress. And so you have these three criminals who are essentially recruited into the Cyber City police force. So you have Sengoku, Gogul, and Brenton. And they are all recruited into the Cyber City police force to bust criminals and to do a lot of the police force's dirty work. And in exchange for working for the Cyber City police, they are allowed to have a certain amount of years or time removed from their sentence. And this series really does not follow a strict narrative. All three parts are very loosely connected. So if you're looking for that kind of OVA or that kind of series, you're going to be disappointed and you're not really going to get that with this show. This is more of a standalone series of stories. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like an anthology where each part has a different story that isn't necessarily connected to any of the others. And each part tends to focus on a different member of the team, which I thought that was actually pretty cool, and I actually think that worked in the series' favor. So you have episodes 1 through 3. You have episode 1, which is called Virtual Death. This features Sengoku. He's the main focus of episode 1. There's a little bit of exposition and information keeping you up to date on what the main plot is. But then it jumps right into Sengoku and his team going up against this central computer that's mysteriously taken over a skyscraper. And they wind up finding out that it's this mysterious figure that was long thought dead, but now he's alive and he's working through the computer to wreak havoc. And Sengoku and his team are asked by their superiors to go out and stop this computer program from killing a bunch of different people in the skyscraper. But actually what they were originally tasked to do is to kill this other guy who works in the skyscraper. But then along the way, they figure out that there's something else going on, where there's this dead man trying to get revenge from beyond the grave via the central computer. And what makes this first part a real standout is the visuals. There's some really powerful visuals. The visual of the main villain in episode 1, I believe His name is I don't remember the guy. I don't remember the name of the character. Amachi, that's what it is. So Amachi is dead, but he's kept alive by his computer that's connected to the skyscraper. So there's a really powerful visual of his skeletal corpse with wires around him, and that's a really cool shot. And there's a lot of cool shots throughout the entire first episode that involve Amachi and his corpse attacking Sengoku with his wires and everything. And Sengoku is definitely a bit of a badass in this episode. And in the UK dub, the guy who did the voiceover work for Sengoku, Bruce Martin, he really gives off Bruce Campbell vibes. And that's honestly not a bad thing at all. So it's almost as if you're watching an anime that's dubbed by Bruce Campbell, who's playing the main guy, which is really kind of fun when you think about it that way. And now that I'm thinking about it that way, I want Bruce Campbell to dub an anime. Come on, let's do it, Bruce. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, not all of the dubs though are really good. I mean, honestly, most of the dubs here in the English dub are pretty bad. But that's another thing that adds to the enjoyment factor of the UK dub is, yeah, they are kind of bad, but they are definitely in the so bad it's good territory. I would say the worst though is Gogol. He's got this weird accent. I think he's supposed to be like a New Yorker or something, but it sounds really off, and I think that's a big part of why it's pretty enjoyable to watch and to listen to, because of how off the accent is. But yeah, I felt that was a pretty solid first episode. It established the characters well enough. You had this really cool stuff with Amachi and his corpse. You had this skyscraper that was featured throughout most of the episode, this futuristic skyscraper. So yeah, I thought it was a good start. Episode 2, though, is my favorite, Psychic Trooper. This one focuses more on Gogol. He's trying to investigate a murder, and then he ends up becoming the target of the military, who have this new top secret Terminator like robot named Malkos or Molkos. And now Gogol is asked to try to fight this thing, and there's a lot at stake, because if he loses, then the Cyber City is going to be disbanded. The Cyber City police force is going to be disbanded, and they're going to be replaced by these robots. So that leads to some really gruesome, intense, and genuinely kick-ass fights between Gogol and this robot. And I like the look of the robot. It's very unique. It's very cool. It has a lot of different ways it can attack you. It can stretch. It can expand. It has claws. It has lasers. I liked how sinister the design is of the machine. And it just led to some really rock'em sock'em fights between Gogol and the Malkos unit. I think it's either Molkos. I think it's Molkos, actually. So yeah, I really liked that episode. And then you also introduce this pseudo love interest who had worked with Golgo, Golgol. Sorry, if I keep saying his name wrong, I apologize. It's just a weird name. um, yeah, this character named Sarah, and she gets hired by the same people who were using the robot. So there's a bit of double crossing going on, but I liked the scenes between her and Gogol. So yeah, overall I thought it was, and also that robot, by the way, it also has psychic powers. So like it's even more of a threat now. So it's not only this super high-tech machine with the ability to extend its arms and legs and withstand a lot of punishments and has lasers and all kinds of firepower, but it also has psychic powers. So, if you enjoy stories that deal with killer robots, I think you'll definitely get a kick out of this second part. And how many films have psychic killer robots in them? Let alone anime. Probably there's probably a lot of anime that have psychic killer robots. But what I meant by using films is anime is definitely a genre where they can do a lot of things that films kind of usually don't do because of budget constraints, or they just can't really get away with it in the same way. So anime really has a lot more freedom to go out there and to really focus on some wild ideas like psychic killer robots. And the next episode, the last one out of the series, called Bloodlust, continues the psychic theme, and this time it's psychic vampires. And this one focuses on Benton, who's this androgynous David Bowie star child looking guy, and he's the focus of it, and he's trying to figure out what's going on with these vampire attacks in the city, and discovering the mystery behind the murder of these three geneticists. And then he starts investigating this one man's quest for immortality, and the man is this rich asshole. And eventually he figures out the true identity of the psychic vampire, and it's this unassuming woman that he found on the streets earlier in the episode. And she was apparently someone who had a severe case of anemia, was put into cryo suspension, and then this rich uh, jerk, he decided to use his power and his influence to create this formula and use it on her and use her as a guinea pig and turned her into a psychic vampire. And she is trying to get revenge on him. That's why she's been killing all these geneticists. And eventually the rich piece of shit, I don't remember his name, that's why I've just been calling him that, he winds up taking the formula himself and becomes this super powerful vampire, and then Benton has to stop him. I like the fact that it takes things into outer space. That's pretty cool. And the psychic vampire stuff, it's kind of silly even for this series, but it works adequately enough. I would say it definitely is the weakest out of the three, though, because there's a lot of dialogue, and it's really trying to focus on the drama between Benton and the psychic vampire lady. And the action isn't nearly as exciting or as inventive here. Uh, it does have some really nice visuals, though, especially ones that involve the moon and roses and the night. And I do like the idea of a cryo chamber being all the way in outer space. And in order to get to it, you have to take this long ass elevator ride. And it once again carries over some of those really hilarious lines of dialogue in terms of the UK dub. Benton has a moment where he totally just roasts this one guy who says something that's relatively unassuming about vampires. And it's like, you wouldn't know one if it bit you on the end of your dick. But it's like, whoa, Benton has no chill. But yeah, it's still watchable. Each of these episodes went by at a pretty good pace, I felt. I mean, I didn't really find myself that bored by either of these episodes. And the voiceover work, like I said, it's not going to win any awards. The work by the English dub actors, Bruce Martin, Sean Barrett, Daniel Flynn. One of the guys that voices a lot of the villains in the UK dub, I swear he sounds like Keenan Wynn, the older actor who's been in a lot of horror films in the 70s. And it was in an episode of Tales from the Dark Side called I'll Give You a Million. I almost thought it was Keenan Wynn, but then I realized it was 1990, and I was like, yeah, I don't think he was alive by then. But maybe that's because a lot of people's interpretation of these older gentlemen in terms of a voice is Keenan Wynn's voice, the gravelly old guy voice. But anyway, as you can see, I'm kind of running out of things to say about the OVA series. I thought it was a entertaining, enjoyable enough series of animated episodes. The characters are likable enough. Their backstory isn't extensive, but it didn't need to be. It was more there to just provide you with the template and the setup for the series. And then they just focused on a lot of over-the-top action and science fiction set pieces. I like the atmosphere of the show. I really love the futuristic designs of Japan and Cyber City that's featured prominently throughout this series. And it's just a really enjoyable futuristic sci-fi blast. And I would definitely recommend checking it out. I think it's going to be getting a Blu-ray, a Blu-ray set coming out sometime later this year. So be on the lookout for that if you're already a fan. And if it's something that sounds interesting to you, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Because it's definitely unique. It's not like everything... It's not. I mean, it's not like everything. It's not gonna have everything in it. But what I meant to say is, it's not like your everyday kind of entertainment. If you're looking for something different, but still somewhat familiar. If you're a fan of science fiction and action, I think this is a good bet. Anyway, thanks for watching my thoughts on Cyber City Oedo 808. And as always, I'll see you guys later. See ya.